G'day guys, as you can tell from the super bright light out here, I'm on patrol today, out and about, and we're about to say g'day to a bit of an old mate, so let's just see if the secret code is going to work. Suspense is killing me. Who's it going to be?
Who's that?
And it's Josh from Aquamate.
Hey guys.
So first of all, Josh, thanks for having me in the world famous fish cave. Bit of a man cave setup, as you can see here. Looks like a ton of fun, so you might struggle to get rid of me.
Always welcome, especially if you're bringing stuff.
Alright Josh, so we've got 9 tanks what we're going to check out today. Do you have a personal favourite or any that we should definitely have a look at first?
So we can check out the goldfish tank. It's the largest tank out in the garage. The whole tank was donated to me because friends of mine couldn't take the goldfish to their new house, and then not long after that I had another person that couldn't keep their sailfin pleco. So it's they're the biggest fish that I own. They're right here and I'm looking at them, so that also makes sense to start there too. It's a 4-foot tank with 2 they're comets, 2 standard sort of goldfish.
Yeah, comet.
And then a sailfin with just 2 gold barbs there. They were just feeder fish. Just wanted to try and get a few sort of dither fish to make the tank a bit more attractive and a bit more personality. Is some fish that you'll be familiar with. This is the mum and dad of the Kribensis that I brought up to you. They are controversially in a tank with 2 electric yellows. So they're probably sitting at a higher pH than they're normally used to, but they're doing really well. They're nesting again. They've had 2 more batches of fry. I'm not trying to keep all the fry at the moment as much as I love them, because if I try and do that, I'll end up with 100 tanks of Kribensis, and lots of shops don't want them because they're so common, and they try and sell them for like $15, and they sit there for a long time, whereas I reckon shops should sell them a lot cheaper and sell them as pairs and make some deals with them. But anyway, there's a beautiful female there and the male, and if you're lucky you can see some of the electric yellows because they really like to hide. Over here, this is where the magic happens. This is where I edit all of the Aquamate videos, so it's kind of cool. I can sit here with all my fish trying to get ideas. This is the latest one that I did about a goldfish that we fed some shelled peas, which you should go and check out on YouTube now. Over here is the pygmy cory tank. There are 8 pygmy cories in there. They like to hide most of the time. Not happy with the layout. I was happy at the time, and I got a good response from a lot of people on YouTube, but I'm just thinking that I haven't got the right sort of setup for them. So I'll probably experiment with that one soon, I reckon. Over here, you might remember some of these things. These are the plants that you gave me. You can see that they're not doing as well as they were doing at your house. This is the Rotellus.
Yeah,
Rotunda.
Rotundifolia.
There you go. See, I'm learning things. It's still growing, but it is losing a lot of leaves. So well, you can maybe tell me what's your theory behind why these have happened to grow the way they're growing now.
Yeah, so what we've seen here is there's a few leaves that have started to drop off, and I do think that it's generally because of a light issue, maybe because they're used to so much fertilizer and CO2 in my tank. It's possible that it's a bit of an adjustment period. Like we can see the new growth down here is quite nice, so I wouldn't really be too panicked about it now.
This one over here though has gone gangbusters, so something's working really well for that plant. I can't remember the name of that one.
Yeah, so that's the Limnophilia sessifolia, and yeah, that's a pretty nice plant, especially for like guppies, endlers and that sort of thing that going to have babies. So yeah, pretty straightforward plant to go. I think as well, maybe because there's natural light here from the window, maybe that helps.
Yep. Also, your shrimp, which are buried at the moment, so we're going to have some more red cherry shrimp in there, and maybe we've got some black shrimp in there too.
Are you building shrimp graves? Why are they buried?
Isn't that how you say a shrimp is carrying eggs?
Yeah, that's right. So we'll just have a bit of a closer look over here. You can see sort of underneath the body, there's a yellow sack of eggs. So that's what Josh means by buried, not that there's a few shrimp underneath the soil.
There's an undertaker. And then over here we have our second cold. This is the only actual legitimate cold water tank with some white clouds. And then we've also got some of the shrimp I've put over here too. You can see a lot of baby fish. They're actually endlers, and the only reason they are in there is because, I'll tell you in a minute when we have a look at the next tank. But basically, I just wanted to recreate the first ever fish tank I ever had with white clouds, except to then bring things like pothos and anubias and a fake background to it and try and just sort of make it more, well, not really more modernise it, but sort of use some of the things that I've learnt and that I like to recreate it the way that I wanted to now.
There is a whole backstory to this tank, which I'll put a link to the video in the card above, and Josh will basically explain all the ins and outs about how this tank has come together. So it's worth checking out. And what about in this tank here?
Well, that's what I was saying. Something came out of this tank, which are the baby endlers in here, but this one is off limits for the moment.
So we'll have to stay tuned to the Aquamate channel to catch that video on the mystery tank.
That's it. And hopefully, I don't know, if we all end up in some sort of lockdown, I'll get a bit of time to spend on it and get it the way I want, and then I'll share it with you all then.
Alright, so I'll put the link to Josh's channel below as well, if you do want to head over there and subscribe so that you can check out that video in the future. So, moving along from the secret tank, what else do we have?
We have a beer fridge. This is a little collection of one of the reasons that I like the fish tube group so much. There's Aussies, Dan from Scotland, who we're doing an interview with tonight. Where is everyone from? Arizona, all over America, Canada. So if you've got stickers or anything like that, I'm always up for doing a bit of a swap. And eventually I want to be able to fill this up.
Just before we move on from the fridge, there is also this hunk of junk that we can throw out in the bin. I'll dispose of that one for you, so no worries about that.
I've got a spot for it. I'm going to put it maybe just here.
All right, well, it was good chatting to you. See you next time.
In here we have the leftover baby Kribensis from the original batch. So this is where I picked some of the guys that I took over to your place. And you can see now I've got a new dominant male and female who, I get blown away by the way they look, but basically they're waiting for a home. And I don't want to let go of them. So, well, I mean, I just want to give them a good home. I don't want to just give them away to a shop and then start from scratch again. Eventually I might have to with some of the smaller ones, and maybe I can just keep another breeding pair.
Well, the next step is just have 40 tanks and then you can keep all the fish. All right, well, we'll keep going. There's actually, Josh is pretty lucky. He gets to keep 2 tanks in his house, which is, not always the case. So I'll just give you a quick pan around to give you a bit of perspective. We'll skip over the mystery tank and that's sort of the workbench there. So there you go. Let's keep heading on the tour and we'll go check out the other tank.
This is my least favourite tank that I have. My dad bought this for my son, and we set it up and had a bit of fun with it with some guppies, and all was well. It looks fantastic. It is so hard to clean. It's very small. Like, it's only a 23 litre tank, so it's kind of very restrictive in what we can put in here. But basically, these are the Endler guppies that I brought up to you as well. So these were living in the now secret tank, and then this is their new home. They're still breeding. There's a bunch of babies up here. We've got some guppy grass from Dr. Black that is actually yours, and I'm just going to keep a tiny bit of it. The only thing I think that I want to do with this tank is find a way to grow some plants in here to stop it from getting so dirty all the time and try and make it a more self-sustainable tank. The fish are beautiful. They will keep breeding regardless, I think, but yeah, it's trying to figure out, this is a sort of a limbo tank, trying to figure out what to do with it properly.
So just on that, if you're not aware of the fluval edge, this lid is actually fixed on here. So to clean it in the surface, you basically have this little, I guess, feeding hole that you can use to clean. So yeah, that's what is making it quite difficult to clean.
Exactly. Like, I mean, it looks so neat. Like, if you go down underneath, the stand's built into the hood. So, like, it's super sleek and modern and beautiful, just like a lot of the fluval tanks. It's just, yeah, pretty awkward. So, I think the key will be a aqua soil and some easy to keep plants and some fertilizer and just more of a minimalist look.
Okay, so then the other tank that you've got in the house, we might have a bit of a look at now.
This is the Blackbeard garden growing tank that's now in desperate need of a makeover. This did not work out how I wanted it to, and I think I know why. In the next week or two, with this stuff that's going on, it might be a couple of weeks, I'm going to be receiving some supplies to completely do a whole overhaul of this tank, and I'm going to have to throw out pretty much all these plants and rocks and wood because there's just so much Blackbeard algae. I've tried a little trick that Chattanooga Ed was saying in a live stream. He said, chuck in a bunch of duckweed and see if it helps, steal the nutrients that the Blackbeard's feeding on. So we'll try that. I've just noticed there is an endler in there. There's 2 endlers in there. Where did they come from? Wow, I didn't know that. But there is 6 apistogrammas, cockatoides, that you gave me, or cacatoides, and a big school of rummy nose. They're the key to the next tank. It's going to still be a large school of rummy nose and a well-planted aquarium. I'm going to go all out, get more aqua soil, going to try the CO2 project. I think the lighting's good enough. May even have to upgrade the filter, but it's predominantly going to be a rummy nose tank with a few other bits and bobs. But yeah, it's kind of depressing at the moment.
But you do also have this really stunning goldfish in here as well, which I've mentioned to you many times. If you ever want to rehome it, I reckon I would be happy to take this guy home. I think he's an absolute stunner. So yeah, I just couldn't go past mentioning this little fella as well.
So the story behind him was that I got him. I didn't mean to go and buy a goldfish. I just went and had a look at the Coburg Aquarium, and I was just looking at all the different cold water fish because I thought, what else could I put in with the 2 goldfish in the first tank? And then I saw him, and the theory behind him is that he has it's a 7-point goldfish. Every point on his body is a different color to his torso, his main part of his body. And I had to grab him. So I put him in there with the other goldfish. And the next morning I came in and he was basically half scared to death in a bunch of Alodia at the top of the tank. So I grabbed him and I put him in with the cories just to see if he would recover. And he recovered pretty quickly. And then I thought I need to put him in with a bigger tank. So he's in here now, but he might demand his own tank, I think. In, I don't know, maybe 6 months' time, he might start getting to the size where he's got to have, I don't know, like a 2 or 3 foot to himself, which will be a hard one to get past the missus.
And here's a Ryukin goldfish, isn't he, as well?
That's right, Ryukin. They're not as common. Well, I mean, you can easily get them, but they're not. You don't see them as common as your common goldfish or your comets or your arandas and that sort of stuff. So yeah, he's pretty cool.
As well as that, in here we can see nice looking Pacific blue eyes as well, one of the larger blue eyes or pseudomoguls that are available. And you've got plans to get him a few friends?
Yes, so definitely want to get, the idea, just the theory at the moment is there's 17 rummy nose, to probably expand that to like 30 or 35, and then have 5 or 6 of the Pacific blue eyes, maybe even a few more. And then that could be it. That could be the whole tank with a pistogramma pair. Or maybe not get as many of those and try and add some Bosmani. I'm still going to call them Bosmanis, but add a few Bosmanis to the tank as well.
So definitely stay tuned for this one. I think it's going to have a real dramatic difference coming to this one soon. So yeah, once again, there's some really exciting stuff happening over on Aquamate.
I found Blake's camera, but I don't know where he is. Maybe he's over here. Blake, where are you? Oh, you serious?
I just need to finish this level.
I know, I gotta go though.
You just caught me dying. Well, Josh, thanks a lot for having me at your fish room. Had a lot of fun. Definitely enjoyed a few of the games. But yeah, and it was really great to catch up with you again, and all the best with those upcoming videos.
Absolutely. Thank you very much for stopping by. Yeah, we've got this one, the secret tank, and there's another secret tank that you know about. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next couple of weeks. It's going to be exciting. And
once again, another really great ausfishtubers. So jump on board, and if you like what you're seeing here, there'll be plenty more of that in the future, no doubt. So put the link down below and go ahead and check him out. Thanks for watching, guys.